Welcome to this special edition Week 11 matchup preview. The Summer's Eve Golden Douche Bowl is finally upon us. So we're going to dive right in. I'm going to save the best for last, and I'm going to go through the first four matchups relatively quickly, change something up here this week and see how you guys like it. The last video wound up getting a lot more views than the previous one for some reasons. So we're going to try something different, see what you guys think. Let me know what you think. So I'm going to beat Jason this week. Tom Brady's going to be amazing. My bold prediction, Brady goes for 5 touchdowns in Mexico. Jason, you don't stand a chance. Sorry. Reese is going to beat John because of Kareem Hunt being highly overrated. Bold prediction, even in an easy matchup with the Giants, even coming off of a bye, Hunt does not reach his 16-point projection, which he hasn't done since week 3. So how the hell can you project him at that? That is silly. Pack Attack beats Gurley's Gone Wild behind a monster effort from Austin Hooper, who Joe should have never cut. Bold prediction, Hooper outscores Kelsey this week. You heard me. Mancusi finds a way to beat Tony despite injuries because Tony is a bye week. Bold prediction, Tony doesn't top 70 points. Now on to the main event here. This is what this video is all about. This is what you guys have all been waiting for, and I'm going to go into some detail here on this one. So Brooklyn Brawler versus Cash Me Outside in the Summer's Eve Golden Douche Bowl. We got a big matchup here. Some huge Golden Douche implications from the two bottom feeders in the league. Two of the worst fantasy managers in the history of fantasy football collide here. And here's the tale of the tape. So Steve has a combined fantasy record in his fantasy career of 57-75. Which means that he's 57% likely to lose whenever he trots a team out there. He's currently 3-7, and he has actually scored more points than Jared by 24, if you can believe that. So there's some silver lining for you there, Steve. Jared has a slightly better career record, which is surprising to me, of 62-78, which means he's only 56% likely to lose whenever he trots a team out. Now, what does this tell us? It tells us that neither one of you idiots are likely to win this game. You're both that bad. So Steve is only 3-7. 3-7 is horrible, but he's only 3-7 by the grace of God and Tony's horrid Russell Wilson trade that I've gone into detail plenty of times about. Tony was really playing like he wants that GD this year, but you're going to have to wrestle it away from one of these two if you want it. So let's get the good players out of the way in this matchup real quick. This is going to be quick. There's not many good players. So for Steve's team, Steve has Russell Wilson. Seriously, that's it. Russell Wilson. He should do fine against Atlanta at home. Atlanta's not a very good defense. I expect Russell Wilson will do just fine. Jared has Julio Jones playing against a banged-up Seattle defense. I expect Julio's got to do something at some point. I mean, doesn't he? He's got to do something at some point, and this is going to be the week. Julio's going to have a monster game. He also has Jay Ajayi, who should do very well for the Eagles against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are completely overmatched in this game, and I expect the Eagles to take control early and keep control the entire way. The Cowboys the wheels are coming off in Dallas. They're coming off. So on to the bad players, a.k.a. the rest of the players just in general. Let's start with one of my favorites, Michael Thomas. He's facing off with Josh Norman, and he's by no means a viable start in any format in a 10-team league. Even with how bad your team is, Steve, you cannot try it out Michael Thomas. It's fantasy suicide. Don't do it. You're looking at maybe 3 catches for maybe 25 to 35 yards. He's not going to do anything. Even on your team, he doesn't make the cut this week. Each of you idiots are starting a Patriots running back I mean, if that isn't fantasy Russian roulette, I don't know what is. If you think you're the guys that have figured out the mind of Bill Belichick, then you know what? Hats off to you. But you haven't, and I think both of them will suck in a game that Brady will just decide that he's going to throw to Brandon Cooks and get Brandon Cooks 200 yards and 3 touchdowns and maybe Gronk 100 yards and a touchdown. Can't start a Patriots running back. It's suicide. Alf Morris, horrendously bad, maybe even as bad as Joe Mixon. It's close. Alfred Morris is done, and he's playing against Philly in a matchup where he's completely unplayable. You cannot play him against the Eagles. The Eagles' defensive front is one of the best in football. The Cowboys' offensive line without Tyron Smith is an absolute joke. You can't do it. Alf is not startable. Seattle's D is droppable. With all the injuries, they are going to get shredded by the Falcons. So use one of your last 3 moves and make an effort, dude. Orleans Darkwa, I hustled you to get him off of my team. That's all that really needs to be said. I hustled you. Orleans Darkwa's awful. Jared Goff at Minnesota, Jared. Really? Is this what it's come to? This is what it's come to? Jared Goff in Minnesota? Dude, you drafted Tom Brady and Matt Stafford. How did this happen? You need to look back on your choices. This is terrible. Devontae Parker is bad. So is Jay Cutler. The only Dolphins player to have you sent to me for Jared Goff, who you're starting against a very tough defense this week. Denver's defense? Denver's defense? Are you serious? They've given up over 90 points the last 2 weeks. I mean, they're getting scored on more than a little boy hanging out with Kevin Spacey. Might be a little too soon for that one. But regardless, I'm going to keep rolling with it. Cameron Brate, useless without Jameis Winston, as is the rest of the Bucs offense. Jabu, get healthy soon. I miss you. This matchup is going to come down to the kicker battle. The best players on each of your team are your kickers. And my bold prediction is the kicker for each team will be that team's highest point scorer. But I've got a bonus bold prediction for you guys. I've never done this before. This is a bonus one for you guys, and this is going pretty bold. Both of your defenses are going negative. Seattle will go negative. Denver will go negative. Terrible plays this week. Both defenses belong in free agency. I can't believe I have to pick a winner in this matchup. This is like, I don't know, picking your favorite smelling turd, maybe. I mean, this is awful. I'm going to go ahead and choose Jared to eke out the win behind a monster game from Julio, which is going to double burn Steve because he's still inexplicably trotting out the Seattle defense. So that's all I got for you guys this week. Let me know what you thought of the new format, highlighting one game. And I will see you guys on Tuesday for the matchup recaps. Best of luck.